Sometimes we want to understand our clients, and particularly we want to understand why they might have done something or why they didn't do something. Maybe we assigned them a task, a homework assignment or something, and they didn't do it. And we want to understand, not judge, but understand what was the reason. But we shouldn't ask why questions, because a why question immediately makes us defensive, because a why question puts us back into childhood when a parent or teacher or other kind of guardian or grown up said, "Why did you do that?" after we screwed something up. It's hard to understand why by asking a why question. It's hard to ask a why question without sounding judgmental. So today we're going to learn how you can use a little ninja trick to understand why without actually asking why. So you can keep the client feeling motivated to talk and feel like they can feel heard and understood. So to do that, let's first understand the mechanics of listening. So your clients have a lot of thoughts. Indeed, all of us, we have a lot of thoughts. 50,000, I've heard 70,000 thoughts a day. Most of these are negative. Most of these are unarticulated. Our thoughts, it's hard to keep a thought on one thought. It's hard to keep our attention on one thought. So we've got a jumbled up ball of unarticulated thought. And I especially haven't articulated this if we're talking about life planning concepts, if we're talking about a client's intrinsic vision for the future. Instead of the Joneses, this is stuff that they don't think about a lot. And they came to you, and now you're asking them these things that they've never thought about before, they've never talked about before. Okay, so you ask them a question or you elicit some information. They're nice people, so they're going to try to answer you. So they're going to pick some words and they're going to answer with words, but what they say might not be what they meant. Especially, remember, because this is unarticulated. So they answer you. And once they say the words, now we have to hear them. And this is the line most people assume that listening is, but at best, this is the hearing line, and at worst, it's the waiting line, as in we're waiting for our turn to talk. But even if we heard all the words which they said, which we probably aren't going to do, and sometimes that's our fault. Like I'm lost in my own thought. I'm thinking about the next meeting that I have coming up, or I'm hung up on a meeting that I just had that was troublesome, or I'm thinking about what I'm going to have for lunch or do later today. But sometimes it's not our fault. The client might be soft-spoken, or there might be a loud sound outside my window. So whatever happens, whatever I hear might not be what they said, but even if I heard exactly what they said, now I have to make an interpretation of what I think they meant. Now that's a lot of links in this chain, and we have a couple of options here. I can assume that I got it right, which is what most people do, and so I'll respond based on my potential or probable misunderstanding of what you said. The other option is to close this loop and offer a reflection. Now this is the core of what reflections are, what reflective listening is. It's to close this loop and to say, here's what I heard, is that right? Okay, and as you get used to reflective listening, closing this loop, checking for understanding, you'll realize that there's a lot of different things that we could reflect. And so if you think about an iceberg, the tip of the iceberg is the big piece of ice in the water, there's a little bit sticking out of the top. That represents the words that clients used. That represents what they said. Now, when we start reflecting, we can reflect back what they said, all or part of what they said, because they say a lot. And so we can reflect back close to the waterline. So we can reflect back either the entirety of what they said, or we can choose part of what they said to reflect back. And that's going to help them feel heard and understood. And as we get more practice, we can look beneath the surface. We can go below the waterline. That's what they didn't say. So now we can start to reflect what they didn't say. So this might be the emotion behind what they said. This might be some ambivalence that they have. They're feeling two ways about something. And this could be the motivation. This could be why they said it. So here's what they said, and below the waterline is why they said it. This is one version of what exists below the waterline. Now, one particular way to offer this reflection below the waterline is what they call continuing the paragraph. So the tip of the iceberg is when I reflect back close to what they said. Below the waterline, one option is to reflect back the emotion. One option is to reflect back both sides of what they're experiencing. But the best way to try to get to why is to reflect what they might have said next. So this is a continuing the paragraph reflection. Continuing the paragraph is in we're continuing their paragraph. So if you think about something they said, think of that like a sentence on a piece of paper. And what we're doing is to add to that sentence. We're going to continue that sentence, keep the paragraph going in their words. We're not offering our own stuff here yet. We're just continuing where we thought they were going to go. So that's continuing the paragraph. And the special use of this continuing the paragraph reflection is to offer the reason. Take a guess at the why and let them correct us. So if somebody didn't do their homework, they say, I didn't get my homework done. Don't ask, why didn't you? Right? Because that's going to make them feel judged. It's going to make them feel like they did something wrong. Instead, you might say, well, it's tough to find the time to do this kind of stuff. And they might say, yes, you got it. Or they're going to say, well, that's not exactly why, but here's why. So they will answer the why without you having to ask why. So here's what they said. In the special case of this continuing the paragraph reflection is to add because, and then take a guess at the because, and let them correct you. So this is a great way to understand a client's motivation without ever using the word why, without ever asking them why. Hey, Derek Hagen here at Money Quotient. If this was interesting to you, if this is something that you want to learn more about, this is the kind of thing that we teach at Money Quotient. We teach financial advisors communication skills, facilitation techniques. We teach them about life planning. And basically it all comes down to Stephen Covey's quote, what good is climbing a ladder if it's leaning against the wrong wall? Or if the ladder you're climbing isn't leaning against the right wall, every step you take just gets you to the wrong place faster. So we help advisors, help clients identify the right wall. So if this is interesting to you, head on over to moneyquotient.com. You can learn about our True Wealth Planning process, which is our model of financial life planning, which guides clients through 5 stages and 4 inquiry categories. These are the types of conversations that you have. So please let me know if you want to learn more, moneyquotient.com.